Everybody, my name is Sanjeev Advani. I am here to bring you real estate, property management, and construction content that will help you invest over the long term and learn more about the markets. And today we're actually going to be talking about income streams to your property. So everybody knows long-term rental, right? Have a family in a home, rent out that home, they pay you every month. You go on a 1-year lease, great, good to go. All right, same thing, commercial, right? We have these different spaces. Now you have co-working, so you can pay month to month and we add in services, etc. But today we're really going to be exploring different types of income. So different types of income and some services that are really interesting to me are actually there is a place online that you can go and you can book a dog park for your dog, right? A dog park in someone's house, by the way. So this is someone's backyard who's probably completely fenced and you don't have space or you don't want to have space to, or you don't want to take your dog out to a normal dog park where there's other dogs and people don't know how to control their dogs and there's fights and things like that. So maybe you got a small group of friends and you get them all together and this is a private yard now that you can rent out that your dogs can go and run around in. Pretty cool, right? And so I was looking into this. These people are charging upwards of $10, $5 per hour per dog. So if you think about, you got a couple friends, you got 3, 4 dogs there, you're making $30, $40 an hour as you rent these things out to these people. Really interesting as far as how we go about making money with our properties, right? Another thing is if you have a swimming pool and you're in a place that's hot. So for example, where I live here in the Central Valley in California, it does get very hot during the summers. We get up to 110, 112. And because of that, it is very important to have a pool. So now you can actually go and lease out these pools, right? Because you can do the same thing per hour, 30, 40, $50 an hour to these people who are now paying to be able to essentially rent out your pool for that time. And that turns your home into an income source. Now, what's really cool about this is if you tend to just stay inside and you're not really utilizing your full space. So I think a lot about the people who are aging in place. Now they can come in and if they're a little bit tech savvy, they can now start to rent out those spaces in the backyard as the pool and they can generate extra income to help pay those mortgage payments. Let's say you're on a little bit of a fixed income, right? Now, the other thing you can do too is now you're looking at, okay, I have this Airbnb rental. I can now take it and rent out the backyard for a portion of the time if it's not being rented an Airbnb tenant, right? Or you can take it and you can rent out to pool, for example, if you have an Airbnb, and now you're earning income, even though this property is sitting there and may not have a booking itself. The other thing is, let's say you have somebody coming in, there's a day or two lag time, you can now earn income from those extra day or two that you're just going to be sitting there. So really interesting to learn about kind of this thing works. For example, there's a homeowner in North Carolina that charges $11.50 per hour per dog to rent out her yard. She made $36,000 last year. $36,000. That's $3,000 a month. That's a mortgage payment, right? And for example, now if you have that as your mortgage payment and you're earning income from doing your Airbnb, short-term rental, mid-term rental, whatever it may be, you can also kind of on these two income streams to increase the money that comes in for you. The other thing you can do too is not only are you looking at renting out pools or backyards, but if you have a special feature to your home, for example, a basketball court, a pickleball court, a tennis court, different things like that, you can now rent out these spaces to people so they can come in and have a nice private space for them to be able to play with their friends and not have to worry about going to a park where the hoop may be broken, if you're using a basketball court, hoop may be broken, the net may be broken, different things like that. Generally, if it's in your home, you've taken pretty good care of it. And so now you can have somebody come in and utilize that and be able to pay you for that as well. So really interesting how that works. Nearly of surveyed homeowners last year said they would have considered using one of these options to be able to help them offset expenses or to earn extra income, which is really interesting because that's a lot of people who are now open to saying, hey, I'll lease out part of my property part-time to help offset some of the expenses that I have and go from there. There's a lady who's done so well in doing this, and she used to be a real estate broker as well, that she's actually looking at opening another place that has multiple acres and is on kind of and being able to rent that out or lease that out to spaces as far as dog parks and people parks and basketball courts and horse park is what we'll call it. But stuff here, just think about it creatively, getting into the markets, learning how these things work and how we can extend our income for these properties that may not be producing fully, right? So if you got into a property and it's not doing what you want it to do, there are ways to make it work. And even if there's not, you can always look at different creative options of getting rid of that property, right? So for example, if there's room, you've got, you can list your property to get that top dollar and different things like that. You can obviously do maybe even a master lease option. And so think creatively as you're going into this real estate game. It doesn't always have to be one, two, three, four, although that is, in my opinion, kind of the growth way is the way that I really like to go about doing real estate, because yes, there are all of these fancy new things, and that's really great, but I don't want to have to rely on that moving forward. I want to have very solid foundational principles that I purchase my properties on to begin with. And then if we are not able to capitalize like I had thought originally, then we are able to utilize these different services that can help us to rebolster our income and keep that property returning the way that it should be. So again, thank you. These are my thoughts. I hope that this was beneficial to you. If it was, drop me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.